A preliminary assessment by the National Labor Relations Board that Amazon workers recast a union vote at an Alabama distribution center is unlikely to bear fruit for union organizers, who face the gargantuan task of reigniting a workforce that voted 2-1 against forming a union. After an NLRB regional attorney released on Monday a disclosure accusing Amazon of intimidating workers, the company responded with a commitment to appeal any challenge to the April union vote. It will likely drag the process out in procedural steps, scattering any likelihood of a serious rethink of its union relationship, says Jeff Hirsch, a former NLRB attorney who teaches labor law at University of North Carolina Chapel Hill. Now, as Amazon workers wait for a decision from the Labor Board's regional director in coming weeks, Hirsch says the outcome will likely remain unchanged, regardless of the director's decision. Amazon's opportunity to delay the election procedures is a big advantage for them, he says. This is one step in a longer process. The Retail, Wholesale and Department Store Workers Union claims that Amazon illegally interfered with the vote by intimidating workers, including the installation of a USPS mailbox that was installed at the parking lot of the distribution center, which the union claimed gave workers the impression that Amazon had access to the ballots. The NLRB hearing officer determined that Amazon had given workers the impression that their votes would not be secret, finding that, in addition to the placement of the mailbox under surveillance cameras, the company also installed a tent at the site that was also being monitored by surveillance cameras. Employer-backed groups were quick to dismiss the development Tuesday, and pointed to the wide margin of the union's loss. This is not unprecedented to see a union lose a high-profile campaign like this, and then try and come back for a second bite at the apple, says Glenn Spencer, a senior vice president of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's Employment Policy Division. Let's say the union does in fact get another election. What is it they're bringing to the table that was different than they brought when they just ran the campaign and lost by 2-1 margin? However, Spencer said he wouldn't comment on the allegations against Amazon because he hasn't read the NLRB's report. The Coalition for a Democratic Workplace, an employer-backed industry group, issued a more fiery statement, accusing the regulatory body of considering to side with big labor by setting aside the will of American workers. Hirsch says that a successful effort to turn around a vote that lost by such a large margin would be unprecedented, as momentum around union efforts typically declines as time passes.